operational mode.
Hello and welcome to the Path to Glory 2 Concrete the Canoptek Episode 3. We have some early results. Let's get into it. So, once again, if you're interested in wargaming, hobby equipment, terrain pieces, Warhammer stuff, check out Wargamers Hub. Use the code TTWM on checkout just to help out and support the Queensland Kill Team community. All this money goes towards prize support and stuff for the events run in Queensland here. Let's have a look. Okay, quick review of Path to Glory 2. Mission complete, guys. We did it. Had a tournament on the weekend that I won. Listen, it was I went 3-0. The guy who came in second, Stearnsy, went 3-0 also. I just pipped him on a few points within the games there. So that's it. Wrap it up. Canoptek's done. No, not quite. Let's generally the idea of these kinds of Path to Glories is to try and win a tournament. We've done that, but we're going to aim a little higher, I guess. We're going to continue. We're going to take it a little further and see what we can get. So let's have a quick review of where we're actually at. I have built the models. I've painted the models. I might put up some fun little videos now. We're just having a look at them. So far, as you can see here, we have some pretty promising results in relation to the outcomes of matches we've had practice. I still haven't really gone into any of them, what I'd consider like the boogeyman teams, as in like Goremongers or like Chaos Cult was a really tough one. I just got slapped on that one, silly. So that was a big one there. A very, very aggressive Death Watch got me a draw, as you can see down the bottom there. So, look, I think ultimately there's still some threats lurking in the meta that I haven't come up against. So it's very hard to say at this point, you know, whether or not we're out of the woods. But yeah, some promising results from the weekend, that's for sure. Tac Ops, look, at this point, I think we are pretty confident with Recon, Plant Banner, and Envoy. These ones just seem to be, having play tested a few now, more reliable in terms of scoring points. Like, you can get to the points pretty easily by picking either one of these. You might not score 6, but, you know, you can definitely, like, I had a game that was really tightly contested there with the Plant Banner, and on turning point 4, I just got over the line, planted the banner, and still managed to get 2 points, you know, on a like kind of 8 to 10 point game kind of thing. So definitely something to consider, you know, even if you're not scoring them in the first or second turning point, I should say, sorry, you will get there with these Tac Ops generally. Okay, and then we've got learning to harness the matrix. So I would just want to touch on the games I had on the weekend and just show you how I implemented the matrix. So we've just got our little overview here, which we've discussed in the past. So map 9, we were using the old Tac Ops, which is a bit odd, just because we had a few new people at the tournament, so it was easy for them, only having had a couple of games, to not have to learn a whole new lot of Tac Ops and Crit Ops. So this one we had map 9 Extraction. What I ended up doing here was, this was against the Death Watch. I put a heavy barricade down where the large brown rectangle is, which is the Geomancer. I got one of the Tomb Crawlers up on Vantage on the small stronghold, and the piercing Tomb Crawler on the Vantage of the ruin there, the large ruin, and then basically just like made them come to me in the center because I had the 2 points dotted up basically. That worked really well. It just meant that I had the firepower there to threaten whilst, you know, having my warriors kind of dance around that area. Now, the Death Watch definitely got in there and took out a few models, don't get me wrong, but the Cryptek was never really threatened. The Geomancer was never really threatened to that position, and it was just a lot of work for them to get through to me. So this was a really good one where I could just kind of park the bus, quote unquote, and just leave the Matrix in this position and just like basically deny them definitely my home objective and contest the mid and put a lot of energy into contesting the mid. So this one worked pretty well. The next one we had around was map 10. We were playing Upload. Once again, Death Watch here. So I had one of the Tomb Crawlers on the ruins of D there just to cover off basically getting flanked, and I had a warrior and the accelerator over there. The rest of the team was on the matrix. So from left to right here, we basically started with our matrix in this position on the halfway line. We put a heavy barricade, on the 4-inch mark there, parked the Geomancer behind it, and then we used the movement ability to get the Tomb Crawler up on that vantage. And then basically same thing. We just shot them off the points as they came. We kept them back. We kept a few models off to the side there to flank with, and just to, you know, ensure our flank was secure. And then we just pressured the points, and basically it was like, if you want to score, you're going to have to come into the matrix to score, and the matrix is where I live. You know what I'm saying? So this was another one where it was like tight in terms of like the Death Watch are no joke. They're going to come for you. But at the same time, it was reasonably comfortable in the fact that I was able to manage how I engaged. I was able to manage my losses in terms of what I wanted to throw away and stall the Death Watch with, and this worked out pretty well. So once again, a reasonably high scoring game. It took a little while to get the ball rolling and get everyone in position, you know, turning point 2 wise and turning point 1, and then basically it was just, you know, we were able just to score points and pick models off as we chose to. The very last map we had here was the map 4 for the Tomb World. We had the mission Loot, so it was obviously important just to score points. Now, the map was actually set up a little incorrectly, I believe. So the doors were, the A3 door on the right-hand side was on the opposite side. So that allowed me just to kind of walk through onto the teleporter, if that makes sense. But basically what we did here was we put our matrix right in the middle. We ignored their opponent's home objective there up at C4, and we just contested the mid as much as possible, and we contested our home objective. Once again, the door was on the other side there, so basically it was just a lot of going on guard with that Tomb Crawler. So we had a Tomb Crawler behind C5, just basically going on guard. We had a Warrior out in the open, just going on guard to cover off that corner, and then we had the Geomancer at the back there. The Geomancer ended up throwing forward right up to the halfway point and getting some nice blasts off. I think I was playing Navy Breaches here, so a lot of models. This was a really fun game. I was playing against Bryce, who's a great guy. He's been playing with us locally a bit recently, and yeah, it was just really tough to kind of eliminate all his threats as they got to me. So he took a few models out, but he also snuck in and stole the loot off me a couple of times, which was funny. So he definitely did really well to deny me some points there, but we just stood solid. We just took shots from the matrix. This was definitely a game where I took a few shots off matrix, and just like off matrix shooting just feels horrible. You just never get any results really. So basically just pressured the mid there, like I said, maintained security of our own home objective, and just I think for this we took Contain because we were playing the old one, so just really ensured that he couldn't cross that midway point. But yeah, so the matrix has been working really well for me. In relation to ploys, now what I've changed from, initially obviously I ran through everything you're going to want to have. What I've been working on is budgeting and just taking transdynamic amplification, cryptographic repulsion if needed, and then shield flare, you know, basically once a turn. Having a CP available to use it once a turn is where I think we're really at. Always keeping a CP available for sacrificial thrall, and then using animate obelisk nodes as needed to basically just stall activations if I feel like I don't have a good shot, and you know, if the enemy activates again, they're gonna have to give me something. So I definitely have been abusing animate obelisk nodes there with the equipment to just stall out a little bit. So they've been working really well for me. I haven't had the opportunity to use soul drain, although I can definitely see its value, and the hyper shielding, I just feel like it's been less worthwhile than it seems, in terms of like generally you're hitting, like I don't care if the warriors die, the accelerator and the reanimator are probably, unless I'm using them for bait to pull the enemy out of position, I'm not giving shots away on them. So you know, the only things that need to save are the Cryptek and the 2 Tomb Crawlers, which have the 3-up saves. I've just been healing them up if they take hits rather than spending the CP on hyper shielding. I feel like that's the better use of our resources ultimately. So that's just something that I'll continue to play with as we go and see where we end up. But yeah, for now, hyper shielding hasn't been super relevant in my mind. So back to our concerns. Now, we've had a little bit more thoughts here. Basically, we've still got the three main operatives, the two tomb crawlers, and the geomancer that are going to do work. Hitting things off the matrix is just a coin flip. You know, like getting 1 or 2 hits or getting any damage done off matrix is just like, if it happens, great. I'm not counting on it basically at all, though. I'm just using the off matrix operatives to scare, to secure my flanks, to charge threats, etc. I'm trying to bring the Geomancer, a Tomb Crawler, a Warrior, and a Reanimator on the Matrix at all times. The Warrior's disposable. If he dies, I just bring another Warrior in and put it on the Matrix as soon as I can. The remaining units are basically, yeah, like I said, just to go wide and cover off threats and try and deny Tac Ops where possible. I have dangled the Reanimator twice now as bait, which people love to move out of position to kill. So if, once again, like, if your Geomancer's in a pretty safe spot and you can conceivably risk giving away a victory point with the Reanimator and you're not going to need to heal again, people want to kill it. So it's a very nice piece of bait to put out there to pull people out of position. I've had that work. It's been pretty successful so far. Losing the Reanimator sucks, obviously, but at the same time, to get that ball rolling, I think it's a pretty good pawn piece in that regard. I think the 4 CP per turning point is really... So basically, I think at this point, I'm doing 2 strategy phase ploys, the shield flare for the firefight ploy, and then having 1 CP available for sacrificial thrall. So once again, you're still limited to 9 a game, so that's not a perfect thing, but kind of where I'm comfortable at this point. But we'll readdress that as we move on. I need to still learn which teams I can use the Matrix on and which teams aren't going to work on. Like I said, I still haven't really faced them boogeyman threats. And I still think being overrun is a real issue, like with the elves and stuff that can get into your Matrix quickly and efficiently. There's definitely some threats there to consider. So still got some concerns moving forward, but at this point we're looking okay. We've still got 2 tournaments to come up. That's 11 tournament games. We're still going to be practicing each week up until that point. So moving forward, obviously, once I'm feeling pretty comfortable after these tournaments, if I get the results I'm after, I'll produce the faction guide. A lot of the other people in my area are not doing the triangle matrix like I am. They're all doing a line. So I'm kind of interested to see how they're going. I know that they've had success at some tournaments and stuff as well, but I do want to speak to Jarrett, Jay, Adam, and just see how they're going with the line and just have a good conversation there around what's working, what's not working. And then really just see how the meta shakes out over the coming weeks, because Deathwatch are obviously everywhere at the moment. I think at that 19 people event on the weekend, we had 5 or 6 Deathwatch, so like 25% Deathwatch players. So, and a couple of Raveners. So my 33% meta Deathwatch / Ravener predictions looking pretty good at this point. But basically, yeah, I want to see how things shake up and react to Canoptek, because I do think there is some weaknesses there that can be exploited. So I haven't seen any Golemongers in a while. I'm sure Golemongers are still good. I haven't seen any Sanctifiers. I'm sure they're still going to cause us some issues. So very interested to see how that looks and shakes up over the next coming weeks. But yeah, anyway, just thought I'd provide this quick update. A little bit of success there. I think it's working pretty well. I will definitely keep you updated as we go. And hopefully we'll be looking towards a guide over the next kind of 4 weeks or so. Thanks for sticking in, tuning in, and I'll catch you around.